And we're following breaking news. CP24 has confirmed when the Eglinton Crosstown LRT will finally open. The transit line will open February 8th. This is according to a source with direct knowledge of the project. City Councilor Josh Matlow posting earlier today on social media that it looked like the line would be up and running on that date. Premier Doug Ford also said earlier this month he was hopeful the Crosstown would open early next month. And the line was supposed to open in 2020, but it's been plagued by delays, lawsuits, and safety issues. For more on this, we're joined live by Brad Bradford, Ward 19 Councilor. Councilor Bradford, thanks a lot for joining us. So I just want to hear your initial response to this.
Well, look, this has been a project that has experienced significant delays, billion-dollar cost overrun, and it's certainly time to get it open. We need more transit in the city of Toronto, so this will be welcome news. But again, something that took 15 years to complete, the hundreds of businesses that have been shuttered during the construction process, never to reopen again. And for anyone living or navigating Midtown Toronto, this has been an extremely difficult process. My concerns today are primarily based on the opening of the Finch West LRT just a few months back, which of course was plagued by disasters. It wasn't an example of how you want to open a transit system. So hopefully the TTC has learned a few things from that, and we will have a smoother opening when it comes to the Eglinton Crosstown.
What about calls for a public inquiry?
Well, look, I think whenever there's opportunities where we can learn from these types of projects, that's something that is worth considering. It's no secret that this wasn't a smooth process. And again, a project that was supposed to open in 2020 after breaking ground in 2011, $1 billion over budget. I think there's lots of lessons to be learned. But more recently, I think when we look at having the TTC take over operations, you look at what happened on the Finch Crosstown, the fact that the signal priority wasn't in place when it opened, the fact that that line was operating slower than the buses it was replacing. I don't think Torontonians will have a lot of time or patience for a similar episode if that was in fact the case here with the Eglinton Crosstown. So my message to the TTC, to the mayor, is to make sure the T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted when it comes to this opening. Torontonians can't afford to wait any longer.
Once it is finally up and running, is this going to be categorized as a failure or a success for you?
Again, anytime we're opening transit lines here in Toronto, I think that's a positive. But you look at Finch West LRT today, we have the snow plows that are trying to clear the streets, plowing in the tracks at all of the intersections across the Finch West LRT, actually shutting down train service today. And so it doesn't seem like the left hand is talking to the right hand when we can't even coordinate the snow removal on our streets and at the same time box in the higher order transit that we just opened. So there's lots of growing pains with these things. Ultimately, this will become a ubiquitous part of Torontonians' transportation options here in the city. It's going to be a really vital connection to Line 1. That's the stuff that we want to see. But it is another example of an infrastructure boondoggle that was $1 billion over budget, 5 years delayed, and left a chasm of small businesses absolutely devastated by the construction, and hundreds of thousands of Torontonians frustrated with the wait to get here.
And what exactly have you heard about that February 8th deadline?
Well, yeah, I've heard much of the same. The TTC has been testing this for quite a while now, thousands of kilometers of testing on the tracks, many hours. And so again, we need to be ready for prime time. And if we learned anything from the Finch West LRT, it was that the TTC wasn't ready to assume the operations and do it in a way that our customers expected. And so, again, we need to make sure that when Eglinton opens, we hit the ground running. I would assume that they have taken the reps to get into a position where they are comfortable with the February opening. But again, you get into operational considerations, even like today, where you have snow plows that are plowing in the Finch West LRT and shutting down service. The benefit with the Eglinton Crosstown, Bakari, is that much of the service, or half of it anyways, is underground. So I'm hopeful that we're not going to have the same sort of issues with some of the track switches, with the snow plows. But we are a winter city. We do get snow in Toronto, in Canada, and we need to be making sure that our infrastructure is able to handle that.
Ward 19 Councillor Brad Bradford, thank you.
Thanks, Bakari.